Hello, Wendy.
Hello, Jane.
Welcome to Love Letters, Life, and Other Conversations.
Hello, Jane.
Hello, Wendy. How are you today?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm very well. Beautiful, sunny summer day here in Normandy. Couldn't be happier.
Oh, wonderful. We are also having a beautiful sunny day. It's about to get hot for the next week, but today it's easing in. And I still have my merry band of painters. They're on week 3.
Oh, wow.
They are
You
so
have to start
lovely.
taking some photos for me. I want to see.
I will. The house looks beautiful. Today they are in the home stretch. They're painting the individual panes of each window. So our windows are 12 over 12. So there are 24 panels of glass in each window. So they've reglazed the windows. They're painting each pane. And are you ready for this? They're going to wash my windows.
Oh,
I know. I'm almost more excited about clean windows than I am about new paint. It's so good.
wow. Are they doing inside and outside?
I'll do the inside, but I can't get to the outside because I don't have a 40-foot ladder. So like even the attic, they're washing the outside of the attic with, oh my gosh.
Oh, how beautiful.
I love them.
When you come up your driveway, the sun will gleam on the windows and you'll be able to look at their shininess and cleanliness.
It's so beautiful. And I had a very long hiatus from my housekeepers and my house cleaners. I'm the housekeeper. The house cleaners returned yesterday. And I'm so happy I remembered this because I wanted to tell you, I was sitting at my desk working while they were doing their magic. And guess what? They were singing.
Oh, did they sing?
They sang
while you work. Do, 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 do.
They were singing. And I just thought, oh my word, this is so beautiful. I only want to surround myself with craftspeople who love what they're doing and are happy to be here because I sing while I work and I'm just so happy. It's just this beautiful, they are the vibrational match for what I'm drawing into this beautiful space. And that would have sounded completely crazy woo-woo to me 2 years ago. And oh my word, it's real thing, friends. It works.
I know. We have this gorgeous girl locally. She's a local French teacher in one of the French, one of the schools. And she's been coming in and teaching French every week here. And before the first Chateau Life residents came back at the start of April, she said to me, well, because I said, do you know any cleaners?
Right. You were on the hunt.
I was looking for a femme de ménage.
Yes.
And she said to me, well, I'll come and help you clean while you're waiting to find someone. Anyway, she came. And the reason I found her was because a couple of years ago, we had this local choir that came one Saturday night, and we had an aperitif with the choir, and we invited a whole lot of friends.
Oh my word, an aperitif with the choir. I cannot get enough of you. It's unbelievable.
I'll send you some photos and some videos of that particular event. And I had rung Doris and said, can you, put the word out that I'm looking for someone. Anyway, Doris got back to me about Justine. She said, do you remember Justine? She's the choir master's girlfriend. And I said, no, but I probably will recognize her when she comes over. So, she came over as the French teacher, but she helped me for about 4 weeks with cleaning. And she sang the entire time.
I love it. That's my new marker.
Mhm.
for who is supposed to be here.
Yes, yes, singers only.
Oh, I
Uh,
love it so much.
Anyway, it was lovely. It reminded me of, it must have been 2 summers before COVID. Every year since 2012, I'd been having musicians in residence here from
Ooh,
Juilliard in New York.
fabulous.
I had this young girl who was actually an Australian who wasn't at Juilliard, but she was going to the conservatorium in Conservatory of Music in London
Okay.
to do a master's in opera.
Mm.
And she came here and stayed for a month and a half
Oh
and
my word.
sang all day, every day,
Yes.
because that's what she was here for. She was here to practice her craft and be fed. So I loved that. And I remember thinking one day, oh, Pete's put my favorite playlist on. And it was after about 5 songs that I realized, oh, it wasn't Pete at all putting the playlist on. It was Jenna
You're
singing
kidding.
in
Oh
the
my,
Yellow Submarine. I'll send you some video of that too. It's
please.
all on my Instagram, but you'd have to go a long way back. I'll send you some of them because
Thank you.
both of those were absolutely divine.
That reminds me, one time we were in, I think it was Venice, and Keith and I were just walking around following our bliss.
Mhm,
And all of a sudden we happen on this square
mhm.
and there's nobody there. It's kind of more like a giant courtyard in between buildings rather than a square with a fountain or anything. There is a man in his apartment singing opera out an open window. And I was like, I just stood there
Only in Italy.
until he finished. I'm tears streaming down my face.
Mhm,
I just thought, what is happening right now? This is so beautiful.
mhm.
And it just, it's such a beautiful springboard for our springboard
Oh,
of
yes.
just the world needs our gifts. The world needs us to do the thing that is in our hearts, because that Italian opera guy didn't know me. He didn't know that I would just happen to be walking around and 10 years later would recall, actually 10 years later, almost to the day, that's
Oh,
weird, that I would recall that experience.
how gorgeous.
Like, we're just, it's one of the concepts that is spoken about often by the author that I'm quoting today, Marianne Williamson, talking about how we are not individual. We are a part of the whole. We are waves in the ocean
Mm,
that are not separate from another wave. We have our bodies keep us under this illusion of being an individual, but we are actually a collective, and how us using our gifts are in service not only to us, but to the collective, to the ocean. We are all rays of the sun. We are all waves of the ocean. We are all one. It's just beautiful.
it is. What have you got for us today, my friend?
Oh, I'm so excited. So
Apart from that,
I know, right? I could talk all day. Okay, so Marianne Williamson.
oh, I love her.
Oh, anyone who has not heard of her or read any of her work, I highly recommend anything that she's doing. This book that I am reading for the second time, A Return to Love. This is reflection on the principles of A Course in Miracles.
Yes.
And so it's essentially,
I have just received that, A Course in Miracles.
oh, fantastic. So this book is considered the Cliff Notes for A Course in Miracles. So it might be a beautiful tandem to the work you're doing in the course, because it's very
well, she quotes that she wrote that book as her personal path out of hell.
Yeah. Yes. And she's been at it a long time, and she started by giving lectures on this return to love concept in the gay community in San Francisco back in the 80s during the AIDS epidemic. And that's really where she got her start, and did some groundbreaking work in that community, and really has not stopped. Like, she's phenomenal. So this portion that I'm going to read is from the book Return to Love, and it's under the section on heaven, and this is regarding our capability for brilliance.
Ooh.
So the line from the Course in Miracles is, you can stretch out your hand and reach to heaven.
Okay.
In the eyes of God, we're all perfect, and we have unlimited capacity to express brilliantly. Potential is a concept that can bind us to personal powerlessness. Focus on human potential remains impotent without a focus on human capacity. Capacity is expressed in the present. It is immediate. The key to it lies not in what we have inside us, but rather in what we are willing to own that we have inside of us. There is no point in waiting until we are perfect in what we do, or enlightened masters, or PhDs in life, before opening ourselves to what we're capable of doing now. And fear, of course, is the great betrayer of self. The difference between those people living their potential and those who don't is not the amount of potential itself, but the amount of permission they give themselves to live in the present. And mic drop.
Well, you're not going to believe this, Wendy, but
I will.
Yesterday, being Monday and being book club, and you know that our June book club book has been Trust Your Vibes by Sonia Choquette.
Yes.
And Sonia came to book club yesterday, and we had the week before, we had the most incredible discussion. I took 4 of Sonia's most poignant quotes and used them as springboards for discussion at book club.
That must have been a hard whittling process.
Well, it was, but there were 4
amazing
that really stood out for me, and I might even use those as one of the springboards for next week.
Please.
But we had 2 new members, 2 new book club members. It was funny because one of the quotes referred to exactly what, the second last line in what you just wrote.
Oh.
Enlightened masters, PhD in life, before opening ourselves to what we're capable of doing now. So she talks about, and she talks about all the time, and she talked about it yesterday in person as well, about being curious in the moment, and having courage in the moment. And I said to her, and having vulnerability. And she said to me, I have a problem with that, Jane. And tell me why. And she said, because the majority of the population, when you say vulnerability, they get a negative feeling about the word.
Right.
She said, I prefer to say, let's be curious and let's trust the outcome of our curiousness. Let's trust the outcome of our courageousness. So let's use the word brave rather than
Vulnerable.
vulnerable.
Interesting.
Now, I you know that I love to use my vulnerability, and I find it quite exciting when I decide to be particularly vulnerable. But I thought that was very interesting that she said that yesterday. And the other thing about what you just read was what you and I have talked about a lot, about doing it messy.
Yes.
You know, we can do it in the moment. We can be curious. We can be courageous. We can do it messy. We don't have to have a PhD in whatever it is that we want to do. You know, I spoke to another lady at book club. This is one of the new members who's actually living in Paris for 6 months in one of our other book club members' apartments.
Fabulous.
You've met Diane before, haven't you?
Yes. Yes.
So she's living in Diane's apartment. And I said to her, you know, Therese, have you had a good week? And she said, Jane, I've had the most incredible week. I had a 3-hour session with a breath specialist.
Oh.
I said, with a what? And she said, with a specialist, just teaching me how to breathe. And I said, oh, you've got to tell me more about that. So I immediately, you know, she sent me the link, and I've immediately made myself an appointment to go and see this breath specialist. But I love this whole idea that the key lies in not what we have inside of us, but rather in what we are willing to own that we have inside of us. And that comes back again to curiousness and bravery.
Yes. Yes.
I'm still going to say vulnerability, because to me, vulnerability is an incredibly positive thing. But I love that we had the discussion.
Well, what if we say that bravery is empowered vulnerability?
There you go. I like that. Bravery is empowered.
So good.
I liked that little bit of space then.
Right?
Didn't you?
Yes.
So we had quite a chat about breathing as well. I mean, I can't actually believe that you have chosen this as the springboard today. First of all, because I just think Marianne Williamson, who you introduced me to, is amazing.
She is a queen for sure.
Yeah. And I had just ordered A Course in Miracles by Helen Schumann.
Right? All of the synchronicities. It's just, okay, everybody that's listening, you have 8,000 synchronicities as well. None of these are mistakes. None of these are coincidences. Follow the breadcrumbs, follow the curiosity, have empowered vulnerability, be brave, give yourself permission. Like that, the difference between those people that are living their potential and those who don't is not the amount of potential itself. It is the amount of permission they give themselves to live in the present.
And that whole living in the present, and she's, you know, that's how she started on her whole trajectory. You know, she began reading that course in A Course in Miracles passionately.
Yes.
Was an absolute devotee, and doing its 365 daily exercises.
Yes.
And returned to her Jewishness. She had come right away from her faith.
Yes.
But and I love what she says, that it was her path out of hell. And she's quoted as saying, you know, I was in a series of unhappy love affairs, alcohol and drug abuse, a nervous breakdown, and endless sessions with therapists, but was absolutely captivated by the book's message on forgiveness, specifically the notion that one cannot find peace in life without forgiving others. Gosh, A Course in Miracles. So I'm about to start that. I'm going to do the 365 daily exercises.
That's amazing. I was just looking at it also. I'm
You're
going to
joking.
start it. No, but I'm going to start it in October because summer is a little intense for me. And
Yeah,
I
sure.
know that that's going to really require some presence and introspection. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So
well, you know that I make time for myself every day.
yes.
Just before I came on with you, I had a little lie under my favorite oak tree.
Amazing.
And I took my iPad out there and I watched episode 4 of a second season of a show that I'm watching. And then I had one of my little power naps. But, one of the things, you do it too. We both do miracle morning routine.
Yes. Yep.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm thinking I'm just going to put a course in miracles, whatever the daily lesson or the daily exercise is, I'm going to add it to my miracle morning routine.
Excellent habit stacking, ma'am.
Habit stacking, because Wordle has now been habit stacked onto my miracle morning.
Well, there you go.
Just as my little bit of brain teaser. I'm hoping that it wards off any early dementia.
Oh, yes, that and blueberries.
That and blueberries, exactly.
Yes, I think it's so fascinating just when we pay attention to the synchronicities, they're coming in so fast. You're like, no way,
No.
I was going to do that. Oh no, I was going to, like, that's so
I know.
amazing.
I
And
know.
we just I inspired a friend or encouraged a friend to choose himself and go on an artist date, essentially, take himself to New York City and follow his bliss and have a notebook and just jot down everything that just so happened, circumstantially presented itself, all of the synchronicities, and just write them down. And all of those things are around us all the time when we are present and aware and available to take action. And when we are seeing those things, they're just votes. They're just votes in the column of, yes, you should be here right now. This is the place you're supposed to be. And to that point, when we're not feeling those things, when we are not feeling alignment, when everything is just a push, overwhelm is a sign that a better solution exists. Marianne Williamson says in this book as well that fear is a sign that we are relying on our own strength. So any of those opportunities where we're coming against this resistance, that is not just life. That is not, oh, that's just how it's supposed to be, or that's just how it is. No, it's not.
No.
It's supposed to be easy and in flow, and not easy without trouble or without, the things of the world, but we're just supposed to, I don't want to use the word supposed to, because I'm not trying to tell somebody what they should do. So let me rephrase. For me, I am finding that when I am paying attention and when I am asking the question, how may I be of service? Or asking the question, what would be the most delightful way to spend the next 15 minutes? Should I answer an email? Should I work on this paperwork? Should I just checking in with myself, with my higher self, just like you do when you're washing your hands, and then acting on that new nugget of information? My days are productive and my days feel like they fill me up and I'm in alignment, and I don't have a PhD in anything. And I've not waited till I'm perfect. In fact, perfect is the enemy of good. We've talked about that before. We just need to do the thing and give ourselves permission to do the thing that lights us up. And the next
Exactly.
step will come.
Exactly. Exactly. I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. You know, it was funny today, Wendy. I went out to hang out my whitewashing, and I had a big load of whitewashing today. You know, I did my usual little, there's an opportunity for a, you know, some sort of Instagram piece.
Yes.
And there's a little tiny ledge, you know, the you know, where my clotheslines are. They're in between the old pillars, so where beautiful. The horses used to be pulled up.
I've hung my own laundry there.
You have. There's all new lines.
Oh,
very nice lines, and they don't.
Oh, bow. Okay.
They don't bow anymore.
Brilliant.
They stay very straight. Anyway, so I was there, and I popped the phone up on the ledge where it sits so nicely, and pressed video and hung out my washing. And I love that process, particularly on a blue sunny day. The birds were singing. It's on my stories today.
Oh, look. Yes.
You know, a lady wrote to me a few hours later, and she said, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite so exquisite. Oh. Now, I hadn't realized, but the 5 chickens had come over to hang out the washing with me. And they were just sort of dancing around, and you know, my white dresses and my white shirts were all flipping in the wind. And I didn't put any music to it because the birds were singing so sweetly and so loudly. You know, I ended up having this delightful back and forward conversation with this lady who just said, that is the most exquisite thing I've ever seen. Now, I'm in the old jeans. I just pulled my hair into a ponytail, but I was out there just doing something that I love.
You were present.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wasn't present enough that I even knew that the chickens were there.
That's okay. You weren't present for the chickens. You were present for you.
Exactly.
And how many times have we been doing something where we've just lost the connection to the outside world while we're doing it? And we didn't see that somebody walked up. The man singing opera out of his apartment in Venice did not know that I had walked up because he was so in his zone of genius that the whole world faded away. I mean, it happens when you fall in love. And I think that's just a picture of us falling in love with ourselves and what we're doing and just being available for the best. Would you not say that that was the best use of your time in that moment?
Oh, absolutely. I just looked around me this morning. I made my tea. I made my toast. I sat on the terrace in the sun and had breakfast with one of the residents, Genevieve, and had a lovely chat. And then I went downstairs and I got my washing. And as I came up, I said hi to Justine, the French teacher who'd just come through the front door.
Yes.
And I said, I'm going to hang some washing, but how about some coffee and croissants? She said, that would be lovely. So I prepared a tray for her. You know, I then did my shopping list because we have our farewell dinner tomorrow night.
Oh, right.
And I asked the girls, you know, what would you like for the farewell dinner? They said, well, champagne, of course.
Of course.
Salmon rillette.
Ooh, yum. I love that too.
I love it too. So I, you know, got out my recipe for salmon rillette and wrote down what I needed. And I said, what do you want for the main? And they said, oh my gosh, could we just have really beautiful steaks from the butcher that you go to, and your béarnaise sauce and your potatoes with rosemary and in duck fat?
Be right over.
I said, well, that is pretty simple. And they said, yes, but it's Bosque, and that's what we want as our last meal. And I said, okay. And a lettuce from the butter lettuce from the garden with my vinaigrette. And then I bought beautiful cheeses.
Yum.
And then I'm doing a tartare, apple tartare.
Fabulous.
And I bought some beautiful clotted cream today. So my day was tea and toast, everyone having their French lessons, me hanging my washing, writing my shopping list, going to the market and buying what I needed, coming home, lying under the oak tree, watching an episode of a show that I'm loving at the moment, and then chatting to you. And then we're going to Restaurant Gilles for dinner tonight, which is a beautiful restaurant in Rouen. It's been 2 Michelin star for 36 years.
Wow.
But during COVID, they voluntarily handed back their Michelin stars. I've been a couple of times since they've handed back the Michelin stars.
Yes.
It's still a 2 Michelin star restaurant. I can't see the difference.
It's so good. I just love how your day was bliss upon bliss.
Yeah.
And we can have those days.
Yeah.
And you like got chores done and you did you were there for it. That day sounds so dreamy.
Oh, I forgot the best bit of all. I made beetroot chutney out of beetroots from our garden, and I've got another 20 of them that I need to process.
Ooh,
I'm just going to pickle them though. Have you got something for me? Oh, good.
Beetroot infused gin that you make a Negroni out of that will blow your mind.
Okay.
It's
so do I have to do anything with the beetroot before I put it into the...
Peel it.
I've got them peeled.
Done.
That's it. Oh, fantastic. Okay.
And what the Negroni with sweet vermouth instead of dry vermouth, and the Campari, which you have on that tray behind you. From memory, you have Campari on that tray behind you.
I do.
Yep. There you go. See, I know. Yep. So yeah, I would infuse that infused gin, your favorite gin, with the beetroot, and it'll take a day or two, and then use it. I'll send you the Negroni recipe. We'll include the recipe in the show notes, so anybody else that wants to make this cocktail, because it is so delicious. My beetroot won't be ready for another month, so I hadn't been thinking of that one yet, but it's a good one.
Fantastic. Well, you
made beetroot chutney. I interrupted you. I apologize.
Yeah, I made beetroot chutney, and I'm going to also just pickle some of the beetroots as well, because I've got 2 huge jars of the beetroot chutney. Mind you, it's so delicious. I think it'll be on the table every barbecue, and we'll go through it so quickly.
Oh, will you give me that recipe, please?
Yeah, I will. I will send it to you straight after I get off. In fact, I'm thinking that I might teach it next week in cooking class. Yeah.
Fun.
Because it's so delicious. It would make the most beautiful, just do some beautiful little crostinis.
Ooh.
Goat cheese and the beetroot chutney. It would be absolutely superb. In fact, I might serve those with champagne as an aperitif tomorrow night.
Oui, madame. I might serve that as aperitif by myself this weekend.
What a good idea.
Keith and Amelia are going camping.
Oh, well, you'll have to get yourself a bottle of champagne and have a little drink.
Surely you've met me. I don't have to get myself a bottle of champagne. Champagne is chilling at all times.
Well, maybe I'll put a bottle in the fridge. You put a bottle in the fridge.
It's a house rule to have 2 bottles in the fridge at all times.
Oh, that's a very good house rule.
Isn't that a good house rule?
It is wonderful. That's fantastic. Well, I have loved this conversation today.
I cannot be happier. My face actually hurts from smiling.
Me too. And I've got to leave you with something that I think sums up this beautifully. And it was said by Sonia Choquette. So this is not me. I am quoting Sonia Choquette at book club yesterday. And she said this, and I've read it in her books before. When you name it, you claim it.
I love it.
That everything that you want and everything that you feel and all your intuition, whatever you want to call it, your intuition, your spirit, your gut, your little person inside talking to you, doesn't matter. whatever it is that you feel or intuitively you think, you say it out loud. And you say it out loud 3 times, because when you verbalize something,
Yes.
and you actually, brave up and say what it is that you're feeling, or that you want, or whatever it is,
With empowered vulnerability.
with the power of vulnerability and bravery,
Mhm.
which is empowered vulnerability. Thank you, Wendy. That's
welcome.
a Wendy quote.
That is.
Bravery is
I
empowered
just make that up.
vulnerability by Wendy Harrop.
Oh, so you say it 3 times.
You say it 3 times, and by saying it, when you name it, you claim it.
I love that.
And it's the first step towards whatever it is.
Yes. Doesn't Bob Proctor say, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands?
Yeah.
And I say, if these dreams are in you, these dreams are for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Say them out loud.
Yes. If there's another person involved, say it to them.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. What have you got to lose? Oh,
it reminds me of another thing I heard. Oh my gosh, could we just have a 5-hour podcast today? Ready is, what did she say? Ready is not a feeling. Ready is a decision. When someone says, I don't feel ready, like I have to do this, that, and the other thing before I can do this thing, or before I'll feel ready. No, ready is a decision.
Ready is a decision. Ready is not a feeling. Ready is a decision. I love that too.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, la la.
Oh,
so much.
So good.
Okay. Do you have one big thing that you took away from this?
We have a lot to say. Okay, my one big takeaway is to trust myself and give myself the permission to do what is in my heart. Like that's the difference between the potential and the capacity is the decision to do it.
Mm-hmm. For me, your quote from Marianne Williamson today really cemented for me that whole concept of, and I do it messy anyway. That's right. I open my mouth and I say what I want to say, and it gets me in all sorts of trouble.
And then you fix it.
It's got me in lots of trouble this week, but hey, that's who I am. So do it messy, and encompassed in that do it messy. Bravery is empowered vulnerability. I love that, Wendy.
Yay.
That is going on my fridge.
Oh, you're so sweet.
So it has really cemented for me that it's okay. It's okay for me to do it messy.
Well, messy is not careless.
No.
It's just messy is not perfect.
Messy is feeling my way through it.
Right.
I'd rather do it messy and try something than never do it.
Right. Don't waste your whole life waiting for some magic, perfect scenario to come for you to do the thing. You'll miss it.
Certificate with a PhD on it, I loved that analogy, is not going to make it happen perfectly.
That's right.
So thank you so much, Wendy. I loved today's conversation.
Oh, as have I. Thank you so much. I look forward to next time. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
We have loved this conversation and sharing this love letter with you, and we would like to invite you to send us your love letters. See you next week.